this CBS News article is very important to a lot of people with student loans. It says here, student borrowers' credit scores are taking a hit. Here is why that matters. It says here, credit scores dropped more than 100 points for 2.2 million delinquent student loan borrowers from January through March of 2025. And this is according to recent data collected from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. And then on top of that, to make it worse, it dropped 150 points for another 1 million people. That had to be very sudden for a lot of people who were delinquent in their student loans. They probably just didn't even see it coming. And the reason is a lot of people aren't used to seeing that reflected on their credit report, affecting their credit score. So if that ended up happening to you, comment down below and tell me, what did you think about all of that? And the article goes on to talk about how having low credit scores can affect borrowers day to day. A low credit score makes securing future loans both more difficult and costly, pushing milestones like buying a home or saving for retirement further out of reach. It can even impact one's employment prospects. In other words, it could stop you from getting a job. Many people who've seen their credit scores decrease because of their student loans may have had good credit before, but just think about what a drop of 100 points to 150 points would do to you if that were on your credit. Even if you had a 700, now you have a 600. You might even be in the high fives. So for many people, this isn't just a little drop in a credit score. This is essentially like falling off of a financial cliff into the deep abyss. Everybody knows it's not easy to get a good credit score and to get those scores up. It's so easy for it to go down. And that's what we're seeing with these student loans. And for those with the student loan delinquencies that are now showing on their credit reports, it might take a little bit more time in order for them to fix these things to get back to where they were before this was previously reported on their credit. Now, an associate at Oxford Economics says, the key risk is that this could lead to reduced credit limits and higher interest rates for new loans, which could reduce delinquent borrowers' access to credit, which would then be used for other areas of spending, such as on cars and mortgages. Which is a great point, because what if somebody had a 620 credit score and now they're down 100 points? Now they have a 520 and now they got to go out in the market and work with that if they're trying to get a home or get approved for an apartment, or they need to go get another car. Life happens. If they need to take out an emergency loan for whatever reason because maybe your tires went out in your car. Well, now you're coming to the bank with a 520. It's not the same as when you had that 620. They're going to be a little bit more reluctant. And because of the new subprime credit scores, a lot of people may be given after all of this, they may not be able to get those good interest rates like they were once used to from the banks. They will likely be charged higher APRs for the same thing. And that's just how banks work. They look at your credit score and your credit history. Results may vary depending on the credit score. So what was once a very easy thing to do, like obtaining a lease, might not be as easy if you don't have the best credit score. These sort of purchases affect people in their everyday lives, and it ends up being a ripple down effect. Now let's get into the next part of the article. It says here, grace period expires. And it goes on to say, student loan repayments were paused on the onset of the you-know-what by President Trump in March 2020. And this was also a very good opportunity for a lot of people to take advantage of no interest payments on their student loans. And for the people who did, I know that they're just so happy right now because this ain't that. And it goes on to state, after multiple extensions on the payment pause by former President Biden, repayments resumed in October 2023. And as you all know, we're currently in 2025. And the reason why that was important is because this is the lead up to what got us here today, to now where we see these things being reflected on people's credit scores. And then it goes on to state that the U.S. Department of Education then instituted a 12-month on-ramp period, which expired October 2024 to give student borrowers some leniency as they resumed payments. And during the transition period, loan servicers did not report missed payments or delinquent loans to credit bureaus, protecting many student borrowers from the worst consequences of not making their payments. Now we talked about this in the other student loan video where I talked about what it meant to be delinquent, and this essentially is covering it again. This means when you go 90 days or more without making any payments, that is delinquent. And for many people, that grace period was truly exactly what it says. It was a grace period. And for some people, it was like watching a train wreck happen slow. Honestly, just delayed devastation, because a lot of people are feeling pain from their student loans right now. And I know a lot of y'all are probably like, oh, it can't be that bad. It's just a little student loan. It might just bump me down a little bit. It's not going to have no long-term implications. Well, let me tell you, according to the Oxford Economics Associate, it says here, a delinquency remains on one's credit report for 7 years. 7 years. Sounds like a big deal to me. And I'm saying that to wake whoever need to be woke up about that. That's not a short amount of time. Do you know how much people try to do and get accomplished in a 7-year span? And the article goes on to state how having a delinquency specifically on your credit report makes it hard to come back from that, and it takes a lot of effort, which gets us to the topic of the wealth gap in the American dream. And the headline of this article says, the American dream increasingly out of sight. And you want to know who is going to be mostly affected by these sort of changes. It says here, older and lower income segments of the population will be most impacted. So we'll be looking forward to see if there's any future bureaucratization of the U.S. consumers. And this part of the article was very interesting. It says here, if millions of student borrowers drop into lower credit score brackets, it could exacerbate the divide between low income and higher income Americans, essentially saying, hey, it's going to be some furniture moving. Because in all honesty, a lot of people will be like, hey, I'm tired of being at the bottom. I'm tired of struggling. I want what you have. So what we're essentially seeing articulated in this article is lower class versus middle class versus upper class. And another key part was it says here, younger people are getting further behind on the American dream of buying a house and also saving for retirement, which is understandable because have y'all not seen the prices of houses? Not many people can afford that. Even married couples with 2 good incomes might not be able to make that happen right now, especially if they are in student loan debt and somebody just got hit with these lower credit scores on their credit reports. Because all that comes into play whenever your lender is looking to get you approved for a home.
This is for the college kids or previous college kids that have student loans. If you don't have student loans, scroll past the video. You're ignoring. Like, bye.
Wait, what do we do? We can't be here for the plot.
Okay, so I don't know who it was. Department of Education, Trump. I don't know. I don't even care. I'm not here for the haptics. But taking my student loans out of pause is crazy. When did it start cutting against your credit? Why did my credit go down 148 points? Baby, I'm a 700 beacon, okay? I don't have time to be playing these type of games. What do I gotta do? I mean, they told me that I have to pay the $2,000 and then I can pause the other ones, forbearance or whatever the case may be. Well, do I have to go to school? I only have $10,000 left of my student aid. Like, what do I do? And $2,000? Y'all shouldn't have gave no 18-year-old all that money. Okay, that's not my problem. That's not my fault. It's not my fault. But warn me before y'all run my credit. Like, come on, I'm hurt.
Something tells me it's in the fine print because it's just too many people getting hit with that at once. And so she's between one of them 2 million people we talked about and the 1 million people. Either way, I want to know what she went to school for. I want to know, is it something that she's able to use to help her pay back that $8,000? Hers isn't that bad compared to a lot of people, but I can understand being shocked. Like, hey, when did this start showing up on people's credit? And that's why I'm telling you all this. There is going to be a lot of people that don't, you know how many people don't check their credit, first of all? They have no clue what's on there. You can check these things for free. Go to Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Currently, I'm on the Federal Trade Commission Consumer Advice website. And y'all, this is a government website. And I wanted to go to a credible source so you all know that this is true information. And I've also done it. But you can pull your credit report from all 3 of the major credit bureaus. It says here, how do I order my free annual credit report? And it tells you the 3 national credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, have a centralized website, toll-free phone number, and a mailing address so you can order your free annual credit reports in one place. And here's the information for that. And y'all can see on the next video, plain as day, on the fine print, it says, don't pay them. Who is the them? I think we all know. But funny enough, this video was actually released January 16th, before all of this madness happened with the credit scores and these things being reported on people's credit reports. So let's see what his sentiment was then. And I believe this is the sentiment of a lot of people as far as their student loans before all of this stuff got out of hand.
I never once paid a dime of my student loans, and I am more than fine. This country tries to control us with fear and fear of debt. Treat it like it doesn't exist. I'm telling you right now, do not pay. What can they do? Okay, so after you graduate from your university, like 6 months to a year later, you start getting all the bills from Sally Mae and you got to get on a payment plan. Do not pay. What can they do? You're going to get letters in the mail, right? And then you're going to start getting phone calls, block them, one more person to block, just hang up. These bills that come in the mail, it's just paper. It's just paper. I promise you, do not pay.
Y'all can run, but you can't hide. This is only going to work for so long. And honestly, it's to the point where the rubber has now met the road. And a lot of people with this mentality, unfortunately, are going to feel the pain. You can't put your head in the sand about these sort of things. It's best to try to, hey, see what the payment plan available is and try to figure something out. But at this point, do y'all know that the HR department at your job, because a lot of y'all acting like y'all are working under the table. There's not enough under the table work for all of y'all trying to run from student loan and paying them. It's just not. I'm just being realistic. And a lot of people ain't got enough skill to make money under the table like that. Your job probably has an HR department. They already got your social. They already peeped you out. They know where you're at. You can't run. You can't hide. This isn't just going to go away. People's credit scores are being affected. Their livelihood is being affected because of these student loans and these delinquencies and all these things reporting to the credit bureaus. It is a trickle-down effect to the rest of your life, and which is why a lot of people are stressed. And I can understand there are people trying to make payments and they're like, hey, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but do the best you can. Don't just say, hey, I'm just going to run. They're going to find you, and take it slowly.
Do not pay. I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Because I know a lot of you are like, well, then I'm going to have bad credit. Credit for what? Credit for what? For that $1.8 million house you're about to buy? Let's get real. Let's get real, okay? The amount of little bit of hard times that your credit will give you is not worth the 15 to 20 hours a week extra you are going to have to work to pay off the student debt. It is not worth your life. Do not pay. So based on my experience, after about 8 to 10 years, the letters and the phone calls definitely start dwindling. I've moved around a bunch in my 20s. They kind of couldn't get in touch with me, or it took them a while before they could. And then after that, your credit starts over again. It starts over again. I still have my education. I still have everything I learned. I still can use that to my benefit. And it should have been free. My goal in my life, and I've always stuck to it, is I'm not paying for anything if I should be getting it for free. Healthcare, I cracked the code. We can talk about that another time. But I'm telling you, do not pay. It is not worth your sanity. It is not worth your time. They are just controlling you with fear. They try, everyone in my generation, controlled with fear. Pay off your debt. It's going to ruin your life. Pay off your debt. It's going to ruin your life. No, not paying my debt made my life so much better. And also keep in mind that there are other ways to raise your credit if that's so vitally important to you. There are other ways to take out a credit card, pay it on time. Like right now, I never paid Sally Mae once. My credit 702 got me asking where my girl's at. I'm telling you, do not pay.
And I'm glad that it worked well in his favor, but I am curious. He said he was running from the folks for about 10 years. Are they finna come looking for him now? And then he said he was on the run, but he making this video. And that's crazy because the caption of this video says, do not pay. That is an illusion. And hey, he's entitled to his opinion. But the comments say, tell this to my friend who has $850 garnished out of her wages every month. Excuse you? My friend didn't pay. They wiped out his savings account. Oh, no, you can have it after that. That's ridiculous. And then it wasn't even the checking, the savings account. You put the money in there to be saved, and they took that. Oh, the disrespect. Somebody else said they tripled my loans and attached my wages. And another interesting one, they will garnish Social Security income. I know we're not there yet in the age. Some people are drawing it, but imagine, this is what I said. Government services, that is Social Security. So if you owe money and you get old and you owe them money and you were 60-something years old thinking you was about to draw Social Security, the government going to be like, And also, I'm not even sure that we going to get it anyway, but that's a conversation for another day. And y'all, this is a crazy one. It made my chest hurt. It says, my credit score just went down 240 points today for 4 missed payments on my student loans. And this is what I'd be worried about for a lot of people, especially the ones who don't check their credit history. They don't check it till they need to get a new car. They need to try to go get a new apartment. Now, this next video is a woman who's replying to someone who mentions paying back student loans. And I think she's a little upset from what I can see.
Honestly, maybe they should start taking money from your paychecks and your refunds to pay back your student loans. Nobody forced you to go to college.
Maybe you should have got off your mama's couch, but nobody's questioning your decisions that you made in life. And those of you guys who are wondering why it's so difficult for people to pay their student loans back, How about I break it down for you right now? Imagine being 17 and 18 years old, going into college and getting forced to take out a student loan because you were told that in order to make it in life, you have to better yourself by going to school and getting an education. When you go get that education and now you're landing the job and you get the job and then they tell you you need 5 to 10 years of experience to then work this job. And oh, by the way, we're going to pay you minimum wage. They're the same amount you would make if you did not go to school. So now you're an educator, can barely pay your bills, can barely pay to put food on your table. And now you have to pay back student loans that they told you to go to school for so you can have an education, just for your education to slap you in the face and tell you that your education is not enough and actually you need years of experience. And then we're going to also pay you minimum wage. If you needed to know why people are struggling to pay their student loans, ask yourself this question. Why would anyone give a loan? Why would anyone give an $80,000 loan to a 17, 18-year-old who has no credit history and tells them that they need to pay it back? And oh, sure, let's blame the parents who can barely afford to get their kids in school, but they're doing everything they can, but yet it is not enough. And then you ask yourself, why is it so many people that aren't paying their loans and why they're not paying their bill? No one told them to get an education. No one told you to sit on your ass and stay at home and eat pizza every day. No, we did what we needed to do so that way your kids can have somewhere to go to school. So that way your kids can have someone to teach them. So that way your kids have a nurse that can take care of them. So that way if something breaks down in your house, somebody can come fix it. People can barely afford to pay for their groceries. The decisions people made when they were 17, 18, 19, they thought they were bettering themselves. They thought that they could pay for their loan. And quite frankly, putting those type of responsibility in a child's hand who just graduated high school is wild. Meanwhile, shoving down their throat the importance of education and how if you don't get an education, you cannot get a job to take care of your family. But yet that same education is not paying for you to take care of your family. And you're wondering why people are struggling. Instead of getting on this internet and blaming people for taking out a loan, why not understand?
And you know what? I think many people would say she has a lot of valid points. I remember a time, and I'm at the ripe age of 32. However, I am no spring chicken. Me and all my classmates all told the same thing. All of this rhetoric is 100% true that she's saying. They almost made it sound like you were going to be a bum on the street if you didn't go to college. And at 18 years old, when you don't have any family that has any money for you for college, you don't have any sort of scholarships, debt did seem like one of the best options for a lot of people. And many people that I went to high school with are swimming in debt currently. And honestly, if I hadn't joined the military, I just probably wouldn't have went to college unless I could afford it personally. And I have nothing against the people who went to school to better themselves because we do need the doctors. We do need the nurses. We do need teachers. These are all jobs in society that when I was younger, we were told, hey, these are the jobs you want. These are the jobs that pay a lot of money. Oh, and then the lawyers. I didn't even mention them. But I was so terrified from what I seen from adults around me, the grown ones that were struggling with debt, that I said, oh, it can't be me. And I went and joined the military. And I'm glad because we have something called the GI Bill that helped pay for me to go to college. I even was able to take free college classes while active duty that don't even count towards the GI Bill that you also get in addition to the free college classes you take while you're active duty. So whether people use their jobs, whether that was the military or it was just their employer helping them get through college and paying those credits back or however it works, I can still understand the basis of what she's saying is they did think they were doing the right thing, but unfortunately, things just didn't pan out how a lot of people were told it was going to pan out, and now they're facing consequences for the actions that they took when they were like 17. I feel like this should be taken so serious to where this is broken down to a Barney-style level to where everything is laid out. And if you decide that you want to do it for whatever you want to go to school for, if you think that the risk versus the reward is worth it, then do it. But I don't think it should be no grand surprise. For example, if you took out $45,000 and now you owe $300,000 or something crazy and you're trying to understand why that is, I think it needs to be laid out because I agree. At 17, 18, a lot of people, y'all don't know nothing from nothing. Half of y'all ain't listening to school good enough to understand compound interest. amortization and all of that, don't even understand what that is and what that does to a loan. So they would be the perfect person if they were unwillingly just signing on the dotted line willy-nilly, not thinking it's a big idea, to end up being a victim of the circumstances that they didn't know was going to be ahead. And I'm not sure there's anything we can really do about the people who already experienced that, but maybe there can be some change in the future, and that would be great. Because I know Gen Z and coming up, Gen Alpha got to be looking like, heck no. They probably scared to go to college at this point with all the horror stories we done posted online about college. And rightfully so. This is not a game. And y'all, this one here says, never being nice again. I co-signed somebody's student loans to be nice, and they haven't paid any of it, and my credit score dropped 200 points. Now it's one thing when it's your student loan, but co-signing just somebody's? What do you mean? Who is the somebody? And find somebody else to do it. I can't be that nice to nobody. I need to know, is it just me? Because who is the somebody? Maybe it'll change if I knew who it was. Now I gotta look in the comments. And somebody said, now why would you do that? And I'm thinking the same thing. And then they say, because felt bad because I value education for people and don't want to see anyone lose a degree over some minor fiscal matter, such as lacking a credit score or parents that don't care. Look, I'm sorry, but it would be a hard no for me. I would wish you well. I wish you all the success, but co-signing? That's a big ask. And let me explain something. When you co-sign on any loan, that might as well be your loan. If it goes well and they pay it off, you might even see a boost in your credit score. But let's just say you co-sign on somebody who's irresponsible. Guess what? Your stuff finna tank. So whoever the somebody is, I hope they worth it. Somebody even here said, baby, no. Never ever co-sign anyone, not even family, for this reason. And then somebody here said something that I think a lot of people in the comments may say. They said, file a claim against them. So sorry that happened. And then this person replies with, a claim for what? Which is a great point. That is literally the point of the co-signer. What that means, let me break it down to Barney style. If they don't pay the loan, the bank or whoever y'all got the loan through is going to look for you to pay. You're essentially saying, hey, they don't got it, I got it, I'll pay. And if you're not willing to pay for whoever is on that loan, if they are not able to make the payments because life got hard, because every time something happened, I've fallen on hard times. Guess who's about to really be falling on hard times? You, because you decided to tell the bank, hey, I'll be the backup if they can't do it. That's essentially what you're saying. And if you ain't about that life, don't sign. The comments under this one is just so juicy. It says, co-signing hardly ever works out. My friend co-signed a car loan for her boyfriend. Lord have mercy. For her boyfriend. And he refused to pay after like 3 months, and she got stuck with the payment. And once she couldn't afford it, her credit score tanked. And guess who still got to keep the car? Do you think that the girlfriend got to keep the car? No, the boyfriend kept the car. And guess who had to make payments? See, that's why you don't do that. Nope. And I know a lot of y'all got that love in your heart. You just want to spread the love to everybody. Don't do it. I'm telling you right now. It's a setup. And I need to know, am I tripping? Y'all comment down below. What do y'all think about co-signing on loans for somebody or for a family member, whatever the case may be?
Y'all be on here talking about don't pay them student loans, don't pay them student loans. I'm coming to tell y'all better do something with them student loans.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like we shouldn't have to pay the student loans unless we graduate from college anyway. Because it's like, if I didn't graduate from college, what makes you think I got a job good enough to pay these student loans off? That's like paying for a service that I didn't receive. I do want to go back to school to complete my degree. I got about 2 more years left. So it's like, if I do my FAFSA and I apply for school again, is it going to fix the credit score, or is it like, I'm done? Like, what do? I need to fix this by tomorrow. And don't come on here with that fraudulent stuff trying to fix my credit, because I learned that when people fix your credit, it only lasts for a certain amount of time. So whatever you need to get done while that credit is fixed, you better get it done. I do need a temporary fix, but I'm not trusting nobody on here. At this point, I should just ask ChatGPT, because y'all probably just gonna be trying to sell y'all ebooks and y'all services in these comments anyway. If I can't pay off my student loans, you think I can go get your ebook?
I see what y'all got going on. The credit repair people be on there. Look, you have the student loan stuff on your credit. This is why you need to come see me. They need to see a financial advisor. They need help. And I'm not saying they all scamming on TikTok that are talking about credit repair, but a lot of them are scamming. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I don't know who decided that was going to be the thing, but that is what a lot of them are doing. Long term, the only thing I've ever seen really help people and really get them to where they want to be in life is paying back them loans, or they either file bankruptcy, and that they still take a hit there. So I actually agree. Everything else just seems temporary. And again, this isn't financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just speaking from what I've seen happen and work for people in real life. All this, oh, I can help your credit score go up. Like, you just taking a bunch of stuff off. They're still going to owe student loans even if it got taken off. And that might pop back up. But I also want to know, do y'all think that people shouldn't have to pay for their degrees unless they've graduated? Comment down below.
Hey, so remember when everyone was disputing their student loans back in like February? We all started putting disputes in for our student loans. Well, the first time I did it, I got denied. But the second time I did it, I just got approved today. And I don't really know what approved means. So if someone could like explain to me what that means. I disputed it on my credit score, but some people are saying that they will remove the student loans from your credit score, but that means you still have to pay. TransUnion told me they would let me know within the next 7 days, like, I guess what's going to happen. So I'm not sure, because I just looked on my student loans and I still have a balance, but I just got the approval like, I don't know, 20 minutes ago or whatever. So does that mean that I'm not going to have to make payments? Can someone explain this to me? Because I'm pumped. I really hope it means that I don't have to pay my student loans anymore, because I would probably cry of joy. I had maybe about $13,000 left, probably. And I know so many people have so many more. So if you haven't disputed your loans yet through TransUnion, I highly suggest that you do. I disputed them and what did I say? I think there's a part where it'll say pick ownership over accuracy. I put accuracy, and in the like other box, I clicked other, and then I put like my FERPA rights have been violated because Elon accessed the Department of Education without my consent, which violated my FERPA rights. I want my loans forgiven and I want it removed from my credit score. So that's what I put in like the little other box. You're supposed to like type in whatever. Please, someone tell me if that means that my loans are going to go away, because I'm low-key freaking out. I really hope it means that my loans are gone, because that would be amazing. But I also don't want to like get ahead of myself and get too excited. I don't know. Someone tell me what's going on, please.
Ma'am, you know what's going on. What's going on is you still got to pay back them student loans. Look, I don't even care to get into like, oh, does it work? Does it actually come off temporary? Like, I care about this. Y'all are still going to have to pay back those student loans. There is a large amount of people online trying to get their student loans removed from their credit report. And to that, like, I wish you the best. Whatever it is you want to do, I hope it works for you long term. But nonetheless, people are still going to have to pay back those student loans. And I think a lot of people are thinking, oh, just because I don't see it on there or somebody wiped it off, now is my loan going? Just because you clean something up on the credit reporting side doesn't mean that you don't owe people money. I'm trying to understand the logic, and I understand this will be like very good for a lot of people. They probably be very happy, as she said. But we got to be realistic. They are just simply reporting what is being given to them from whoever you borrowed the money from. So if you haven't paid them back, how do you expect not to owe them the money anymore? There's only one way that happens, and that's why I said you either got to pay them in real life, or a lot of people file bankruptcy. And when it comes to student loans, you can't even put student loans under bankruptcy. So what does that leave you with? That leaves you with the option of you got to pay back your student loan.
Go ahead and drop my credit score 75. How? You know I'm living. And you want to know who
did it? Who?
Them old crust-ass student loans. God damn it, Mohila, you got me. You hit me where it hurt. Like, why would you do that? I'm already going through a tough time.
Not her in her post-woman outfit talking about they got her.
Like, why did you feel the need to say, okay, she's delinquent? Okay, let's go ahead and hit her in the pocket. Let's get the credit score. I'm already f***ed up. Y'all, my credit score is 591.
Oh.
I can freaking cry because I've been working so hard on my credit. I got 2 cars in the past year, so you know my credit score had gotten down. But I wasn't tripping. I'm like, I can pay that. I can do this. I can blah, 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 blah. Shut me all the way down. 75 points. Who do I need to talk to? Ain't nobody gonna wanna touch me. Like, I'm untouchable. And not in a good way. And that's only on my Credit Karma. I don't even know what the real shit is. You know Credit Karma be lying. Y'all check y'all credit reports
Now, they coming for your pockets. They coming and they ain't letting up and they don't give a...
She is actually a prime example of what I was just talking about earlier, where people who have those 600s, you down 100 points, or luckily for her, it was just 60 or 70 something points. But imagine if it was 100 for her. She really be feeling it right about now. And then she really feel like ain't nobody gonna touch her. And what she really means by ain't nobody gonna want to touch her is the banks aren't going to want to loan her large amount of money at a good interest rate. They're going to give her those outrageous interest rates. And who wants that? Whenever people borrow money for whatever they need it for, they don't want a high interest rate. That makes it harder for you to get rid of the loan, paying more money over time, especially if you're making minimum payments and it's not going towards the principal. So I understand her frustration 100%. So as she said, as it says on the screen, check them credit reports. A lot of y'all have not looked in years. This is your sign. Whether you got a student loan or not, you should be checking it anyway, because people will do fraud on your account. And that's why it's important to monitor all the activity on there.
Guess who just got done crying because her credit score went from a 6 to a 4?
Oh,
Me. And then she saw, well, I knew how much my freaking financial aid was, or student loans was. 17,000. Cried a little bit about that too. What a day.
Going from a 600 to a 4 is what, like 200-point drop? Y'all, please check your credit score. Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, now. Credit Karma, now.
They gonna get it back in blood. They can't garnish this cash.
Oh no, and this one said, and I thought the last one was bad. This one says credit score dropped 246 points.
They can't garnish this cash. They gonna have to come get it back in blood. Take your money out the bank. When you go to work tomorrow, turn off direct deposit. Opt for a paper check. We down bad, y'all. We down bad. We got to do what we can do. Oh my God.
She's so unserious. This is serious.
They done got us.
They did get you.
They done got us. This time, y'all woke me up. Everything else was a joke, but this here, you got me this time.
And you know what? It was a joke to a lot of people. And I'm glad she's saying that. And I know she's making a joke out of it. But sometimes you got to laugh to stop from crying. But a lot of people did not take it serious until they see this reflecting on their credit scores. And that is really sad because a lot of those people were looking to get homes or vehicles or renew a lease. And now they have these derogatory remarks on their credit history. Oh, no. This is not what you want, y'all.
Put a finger down if you finally start to feel okay about life. You decide you want to buy a house. The savings is looking good. The credit is looking good. And so then you apply to get a home. You get pre-approved for a nice little pretty penny. You start working a realtor. You start putting in offers. And then boom, your credit score dropped 173 points during the same month that your lease for your vehicle is also expiring. And so then that means that I can't move forward with buying a house at the moment. I can't move forward with getting my car taken care of. And all this happened because you went into a 90-day delinquency period with horrible communication, no 30, no 60-day notice, just an email letting you know that you're a 90-day delinquent and then your whole life is ruined.
Another good example of exactly what that article was detailing, all of the sequence of events that people are trying to get ready for in life, getting the house, getting the car. And then having the lease car is like even worse because your lease is up for that car and you probably still need a vehicle. Now you're going to go in the market and try to shop around. And now because you got to use your credit to do that, it doesn't look good. Look, this is serious stuff, people. Whether it magically comes off your credit score or not, from whatever y'all decide to do to get it off your credit, I will say this. The loans are still there. So you also have to consider your lifestyle and how much you can really afford to put towards these payments every month. The payments aren't going away. So in all seriousness, at least bare minimum, actually look at how much you're going to be putting towards your student loan repayments so you can figure out how you're going to attack it. And if you need to make any cuts in any other areas of your life, you might have to get another job. Figure something out because that's not going away. And I think that is why a lot of people are nervous right now. They're trying to figure out how they're going to pay back their student loans. And if you can't figure out how to pay your student loans, you might see these sort of things pop up on your credit because you might end up delinquent, as the millions of other people have that we reported, and it ends up affecting other areas of your life. And it's a trickle-down effect. This video is exactly what I'm talking about. So if you know anybody in student loan debt and they don't care about their credit history and all of that, and they like, oh, I don't care about my credit score. They don't check TransUnion, Equifax, or Experian, and definitely they don't even get on Credit Karma, send them this video. This might be helpful to them. Should student loans be reflecting on people's credit scores, or do you think that that should be left off? And what do you think about this affecting millions of people almost at once? Do you think this is going to have a profound effect on our economy and society? Let me know down below, but we have to start making better decisions today in order to have a better future.